Okay, work session, school letter grades. Letter grades are being reintroduced after a 7-year hiatus. So what is happening here this time is, this is a really good explanation I received last week at a meeting. Student data versus school data. So it used to be school data, like X amount of kids graduated, X amount of, so as a school, but now it's the students earning points. So each student has the ability to earn the points towards the grade. So what this means is that, like, part of their points is the academic mastery. What do they get on their I-Learn test? So that is one part of it. For a high school student, it is, are you online for earning credits? So somebody who only earns 2 or 3 credits as a freshman, that's not online. I believe it's 10. So if they are on track to earn credits, they get a point. The type of diploma they earn gets a point. So there are those points for academic mastery. However, now they are also giving points beyond those. I call them like bonus points, extra credit. So if they have additional knowledge and skills and experiences. So for instance, attendance. This is where your attendance matters. If a student has 94% or more attendance, they get another point.
Okay.
Now the reason it's 94 isn't because they just pulled it out of the air. Research shows that if a student is in school 94% or more, that their success rate is there. So they are using that number. So also the growth, if they get a certain amount of growth, and there's a percentage for that, 45, 65, something in there where you get some points for showing growth, which we know is important. Now the science and the social studies, I learned, matters to certain grade levels. So it's not the regular points, the academic mastery, but if they do well on that test, they could get additional points. The college and career, if they're taking those courses, and we have a lot of students taking those courses, they can earn some points that way. The benchmark on a PSAT, and then if they earn their way back on track, so let's say they only had 5 credits last year, but this year now they're back on track, they can earn a point for that. So even though we don't like letter grades defining our students, I do believe that they are trying and taking into consideration that student, that individual student. And so that's how the letter grades will be derived.
And then the counselors track all that.
Yes,
Yep.
and now that is a nightmare too.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say.
That's very, very cumbersome.
Yeah,
And so that is a lot of work on their
It
part.
is.
that
Yeah.
is, that's
Right.
because there's, I mean, it seems very manual, there's no, not a system that's gonna
Unless
automate
the
this.
DOE will send one out, but we know how long that will take, and
Yeah.
they have to vet that. So, very good point. Yeah, those counselors are going to be.
Yeah.
But they're back and they're not going away, and so this is how we can
Okay.
show that. And I think you heard tonight that the reading, they're starting to come along now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were.
They're seeing the positive outcomes of it.
Yes.
Excuse me.
The vocabulary, the
Yeah.
listening, the context, and so.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that we will see improvement over the next few years with our achievement, yeah.
I really enjoyed the comments about how it had the inflection in the reading and that you could listen to it, because sometimes reading it, you envision it, but like having it read, you can comprehend that even more, and the dictionary portion was really nice.
Because all kids don't learn the same, and being able to
Right.
have the vocabulary access to it, like just
Yeah.
clicking on it's
Yeah.
huge.
And those activities, those thematic activities, they remember that, and then they remember the whole concept.
Yeah.
But they are really buying into it, and it's important, like those teachers, they've been
Yes.
really good about, hey, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see how excited they are, and that will
Yeah.
spread.
Yeah.
As far as the letter grades, what about like the special ed population or?
So they get these things too, and so there will be a letter grade for all the school and then the subgroups as well. So we still need to hone in on that. Yeah, so what they would get on their WIDA test, and if they show growth,
Okay.
and then same with the special ed.
And then so they can earn,
They can earn points too,
okay,
yes. And those subgroups are important because the DOE wants to see improvement.
growth
You know, their mastery might be at a different level, but there should be growth.
there,
Yeah.
That's good, yeah. Now, how about for the, like, 'cause with it being more student-based, anything on like rural versus urban Indiana schools, or it's?
No, well, we definitely would compare that,
Okay.
but they don't factor in what type of school, but it matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in socioeconomic status.
Right,
and
right.
whatnot.
The socioeconomic it does because they will show the free reduced lunch,
Okay.
the poverty level. So yes, there is that subgroup too.
Alright.
Yeah. So with the rural area, what's nice is we could compare to other rural schools in similar geographic, but they don't do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, then we're gonna.
Will our counselors have access to other schools' data to
Yes,
compare?
once that's made public, you could go onto the dashboard right now and look at any school.
Okay, so they have to download it somewhere to where?
Yes, yeah, when the state makes it public and it's out there, then it's access to all the schools.
Now,
What
do,
time of year is that? Is that?
This won't be until,
Yeah, the following,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, so
Like-
we're concentrating, it's usually around this time.
so is it submitted once a year from?
Yes,
from
they
that
collect it
community
once
to
a
the
year.
state?
So you'll get a grade each year.
Okay. But
And we'll be
we,
a little bit behind because by the time they publish it. Yeah. Okay, so, darn it, why is this doing that? I hit that arrow. Okay. Financial and academic goals. This is stemming from our retreat that we had this summer. We really wanted to focus on sharing our academic goals. And so I have spoken to Richard about getting these on there, but I also want to put the financial goals on there. I think it's important to be transparent. So where we're at right now is Richard is working on like tabs that would make sense. So it would say financial and academic goals. And then you might go down to our academic and achievement goals and our strategies. He will have links to those things. And he almost has it ready for us to look at, and it's not live. And so when we do that, I want to share it with you because I want to make sure that it fits what we wanted.
absolutely.
Now, the financial, we're going to have a financial tab as well, because what we want to do is have a section that shows our enrollment, our tax rate compared to the state, the bond rating that we have, the assessed value. Those things, they shouldn't change. We should only have to change that like once a year. But that's good stuff for the community to be able to go to.
Absolutely.
Even for us to go to when it's not, stuck in our head.
Yep.
We will have that same section that will provide information explaining the school funds in Indiana. It can get complicated. So just a quick explanation of the funds and what they could be used for. And then have a section with frequently asked questions, what did the referendum dollars go to? There are questions that the community asks, and we might as well answer those.
Yep,
Yep.
no, that's super.
So we've given those to Richard and his team, and so when it's ready, I will share that with you. But we are making progress to what we wanted to do from this summer.
Perfect.
And we won't put it live until we're ready for that.
Review the.
Yeah. But it would be nice if we could do that around January, because
Yeah,
yeah. Questions or discussion on that?
no, that sounds great.
And I really like the focus on the academics where it's intentional now. We brought that up at the retreat, and we really wanted that to be a focus, and then we have, Edie and even Edie explaining it, but when we have those other teachers coming,
Yeah.
we hear right from
Well,
them.
it's great to hear, even though it's so early on, that the CKLA is kind of impacting some of this already.
Right.
It might be years,
No,
Well,
but they're
and that-
buying into it and they're doing it,
Yeah.
using it.
And and that kind of comes full circle as the committee that was reviewed all the curriculum available,
Mhm.
why they selected this curriculum, why it's important to be implemented, because the the data show that this type of curriculum had impact
Yeah.
in schools, improving their student scores and their student assessments. So I mean, we want to be able to utilize something that's helping the students.
Right.
Like, that's the goal for school.
And you invested good money in that.
Right.
Yeah. And then tag. Now, we had spoke about this in detail during the board meeting, so I don't need to go through all of this, but do you have more questions or thoughts on this? This is not an easy task.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of it, because
No.
it's zeroed in, and now it's, and then like, we don't even have enough to do our 20%.
Is
where they
there-
funded it.
Yeah, I mean, can they do it like by department? Like, is it a,
Well,
you know, like the science department could,
But it's still, you only got 58,000, but, I mean, that's it, that's all we got
Right.
to distribute.
so we need to decide, okay, do people just apply? And, because we do have a Google form that says, you know, why do you deserve this, what data do you have? But let's say we get 35 people applying and we can only have 16 or 17 positions, okay, we
Yeah.
can have a lottery. But is the lottery for the whole school corporation? Do we do it so many from this school, so many from this school, so many from this school? Do we do it by department? Do we do it by tested areas? Do
Yeah.
we not? It's, now, we could still say we've explored this and we don't wanna do it. We can still do that,
Then you just pay the state back the money, or?
but we don't even have the money, so then it would just
they
go
don't pay,
back.
they don't pay
into
until
their-
April.
Yeah.
I
But-
just don't want any interpretation of, we don't want your money.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I,
Well, there's
I would
also,
say-
there's teachers out there that deserve it, so I don't wanna not do that, and be one of the only schools, wouldn't be one of the only, but when they deserve it, we should be giving it.
Right.
But see, I agree with what Chris said. You know, they come up with this big plan, and now they're not even funding their own plan,
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
Which-
can't.
which just makes it seem totally worthless.
so
Yes.
what is this amount compared to last year, what we gave in tag grants? If we did the highly effective and effective, and it was a smaller amount,
Let me calculate that. About 250 times, but we have about 125 teachers. This is a little more,
okay,
but they did that because the amounts are
Yeah.
bigger, but they didn't end up being bigger.
What was our
I
house
mean, it
last-
was
wasn't it
35,
only like
200, yeah, like that you would get $225,
Oh, okay.
$225, or $325 if you were highly
So
effective.
any,
All right.
there wasn't
So-
a cap on how many people, right?
Correct,
It was
if
just
you got effective or
I don't even know if we
ineffective.
can swing that, bro. We may have to hit at the
Well,
gas.
either
We
five-
have to go to mine, the gas station,
Totally different.
or the Payless.
I mean, yeah, like overall dollar
Big
value,
old
not
sweet-
terribly different, but just how it's dispersed.
Yeah, you get some people getting none, and then some people getting four, you know.
And I get it,
I
they
mean-
want
I
to
mean-
reward the teachers who are,
$200 is
But
you know,
evaluations,
small.
regardless of what one you choose, are so subjective. No matter how good of an evaluation it is, it's so hard.
so, to me, what they're gonna have to do, what we're gonna have to do is, what assessments do we use? Cause iLearn is easy, because it's a state test, but what if you don't teach to the iLearn test, then what test do they use? Because if we have an assessment that they can all say, here's my data, then
Yeah.
at least they all have something.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on, but I don't know what that would be. Let's take Scott, when you were teaching automotive, would it be the number of certifications that your seniors got?
I don't know. I mean, that would be a hard sell,
Mhm.
Yeah.
hard thing to judge.
Yeah, I mean, you're just, the variance from class to class, like this year you have a class that tests really well, next year you have a class that. I
And
don't know.
music, like, you know, those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
classes, like, you don't have tests and.
How many, Indy Fuel hockey tickets would that 58,000 buy? Just take everybody to a hockey game.
It's not a bad idea.
I mean,
You
there are,
probably can't, because you've got this
Yeah, you
cap
gotta
on
pay it out, probably, they
20%.
watch it, they
No.
wanna know exactly where it's going.
now, some people were saying, okay, we're gonna do this And then once the check comes to those people, then they'll divide it up. But you know what happens to that people if they change their mind?
Yeah,
And, yeah, it's not an easy. So
I do
November,
like your idea though of like, you know,
Lottery.
having them apply, so then
Mhm.
that kind of limits it, and then
right.
having them explain why they think,
Mhm.
you know, they're personal, and then, I don't know, maybe you go through it with the administrators and say, hey, do you think this person, and then the number, yeah, I like the idea of the lottery too, I mean, if you have
At
to
some point,
select,
that's
you
all
have,
you
you're
can
gonna have to
do.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you can't find a
make sure everybody's
fair,
alive to see it though
Right,
too, don't
yeah.
just.
Right.
Yeah.
if you
Well,
can't find a fair way to assess
Break it
everybody
down
equally,
numbers.
then the lottery is
It's
probably the
invested
only
in
way
it,
to do it.
Yeah.
But like he said, like
B8.
having them take the extra step to apply is,
Could lottery it through those people.
is the, yeah, I mean, they had to take the time to
Effort.
put in the application and show, yeah, and the effort to show why they
We did
are
put some
applying
assurances
for it.
on there, they had to check that they had good attendance. It's
Yeah,
easy for us to check,
yeah,
that they are cooperative with the directives.
yeah.
So there are some things that, if you do all those things and you show us that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Is this a year over year?
Well, it's supposed to be, but we were talking
We don't have
earlier,
it.
what if we do all of this work and all this headache for a year, and then the DOE says that doesn't work, so we're not.
Yeah,
Then you've created hard feelings.
yeah,
Cause I was gonna say, if they,
Yeah.
if they, like, are 100% on board, this is gonna be here, then you could like say.
Right, if you won the lottery, then you can't,
Yeah,
Yes, the
Yeah.
following year you're not eligible.
but I mean, that's worth
yeah.
taking
We,
into
we
consideration.
should make the assumption, I
Yeah.
think, that it's gonna go on,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, the only concern is like you said, if you put a lot of time and effort into this plan of how you're gonna be fair, and then they scrap it next year, you've just, so maybe just have a tentative plan if it continues, but this year we do a lottery.
But the lottery needs to be for those who applied and submitted their stuff.
Yeah.
Submit
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Right.
And have
We could
those-
verify
And have
that.
those other
True,
things,
yeah.
yeah.
Meet the criteria that's
Right.
set
Yeah.
forth.
Right. So, and like I said, we're meeting November 24th, so in December, we should have an update.
Yeah.
That's it for a work session.
So on the, because there's not nearly enough money that they had predicted, will everybody be at the minimum dollar amount? The
Well,
$3,500?
if they prove that they can be at the $5,000, we can do that, but that's very difficult and probably not applicable here. So for instance, a formal mentoring program, well, we have mentoring, but it's not formal. If it was formal, they would have to be trained and they are required to do certain things, and right now, if you're a mentor, you might do more than Amy does. And so if we wanna make that available for them, we need to make it a formal.
Yeah.
It's kinda like the department chairs, where they. So right now, I don't think nobody would even be able to qualify for that at Benton Community.
So everybody would be at the minimum?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that 16? I didn't do quick math. 16.
It's 16.8
Okay.
people that could get that. So I would say then we would go to the 17, and the extra little fund would just come out of the education.
Yeah.
The guaranteed. no.
Yeah. Okay, so the work session, I'm gonna end in a few.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
thank you.